my name is Marcus. I'm the compiler of a collection of therapy quotes entitled 1001 Windmills of the Mind, a collection of advanced self-help quotes taken from what's often called the psychodynamic or the psychoanalytic perspective, which long ago, as I understand, was referred to by some as philosophical medicine or narrative medicine, helping one to, as perhaps how Karen Horney, one of our mentors, might put it, help us to no longer feel alienated from ourselves. That's the theory, that we might feel like a constant tourist to ourselves. The name of the song you're hearing in the background, Constant Tourist by the band Munich. So we don't want to feel like a constant tourist. I don't want to feel like a constant tourist to myself. That's you might call that alienation from yourself. Not feeling at home or connected, not feeling a body, not feeling that sense of self, that comfortable at home-like feeling called embodiment, the feeling principle, the ontological self, the sense of self, the feminine element, the feminine principle. So we feel connected with ourselves, we feel a body, we have our sense of beingness, a serene, inexhaustible fullness of being. So we feel at home with them, no longer alienated from ourselves. But with babyhood trauma, that's what happens. That's the theory. With babyhood trauma, his beingness flies away. Okay, one image is the princess turns into a swan and flies away. Rapunzel's locked in a tower. Snow White's in a coma in a box. Okay, Echo turns to statue. And then we feel alienated from ourselves, or kind of like a constant tourist to ourselves. Like, where are we? We're distant. We're not connected to ourselves. Like how the singer says in the song, she's trying to connect with a fellow, but he's alienated from himself. He can't accept intimacy, so she feels alienated from him. I was running without leaving. Cause the tourist I have been in your world. They wonder why I wasn't in space. Oh, and I really just like you. I always put you first. Well, you did too. Because the tourist I have been in your world. And your side always felt stuck in a waiting room. They never catch the train of Loverland. I was running without leaving. A constant tourist I have been in your world. And by your side I always felt stuck in a waiting room. And by your side never catch the train of love. I was running leaving. Cause the tourist I have been in your world. Cause the tourist I have been. A constant tourist she has been in his world. She might feel like a constant tourist to herself, actually. So she, or at the same time, she's trying to remember that she didn't have a secure, warm connection with the mother. So she would be attracted to a man with her mother's personality and re-experience that original feeling that she forgot. So one theory is if the firstborn is a daughter, when she grows up, she'll pick how the father chose. That means she'll marry a man with her mother's personality. So she's recreating the unresolved issue in the present. The present is just a new addition to the past. They haven't really left that past because the needs weren't met and you're frozen there. So you recreate it, and the memory is like a template. So it'll be what you create outwardly will be a reflection of the template, as above, so below. The outer life is a reflection of the inner state. That's one theory like that. Okay, so if the baby didn't feel warm and safe with the mother, or the baby felt like a constant tourist to the mother, strange, alienated, disconnected, Mother was a turtle and had the personality, like an avoidant personality style, like attachment. In other words, there wasn't a secure attachment between the baby and the mother. So the baby felt estranged from his mother. My mother, who are you? You're like a stranger. I feel alienated. I feel alienated from you. Geez, aren't we connected here? Are we? uh, Can't I feel close and warm with you? Can't I feel safe with you? I feel detached with you like that, and that's going to be forgotten. So this daughter will forget that. Okay, so that's an imprint. Okay, it's frozen like that. It's unresolved, unfinished business. A baby needs a safety with the mother to develop like that. So the child will grow up, and the theory is she'll role model her mate selection the way her father picked. So she'll identify a little bit like the father, take after the father, so to speak. And then when she grows up, she won't choose what she wants consciously. She only chooses how the father chose because she was conditioned to understand the world of relationships by the original relationship that she saw and created a template. Okay, so the child's growing up, sees the father relating to the mother, and there's like two people there relating to each other. So the child says to himself, "Gee, when I grow up, who am I going to play? I'll pick one to play, and I'll find the other to play the other one. Okay, I'll play the father role, personality, and I'll find a partner, a man, who will play the mother role, and we'll continue like that." So that might be the case. Um, a little awkward doing it in this little section here, but I'm kind of waiting for the guests in the inside part to finally get move on their way. I've been waiting already for a while. All my regular, yeah. Okay, so today's a busy day. This is one of the last uh, spots I go to due to the loud music inside, um, and actually it's busy inside as well. Um, so I just want to get a head start here. The nice venue at the hotel. That was a pretty good video. I'd recommend the last video done at the hotel, 55. Today we'll be doing 56, right? No, no, sorry, 48, 48. Today we'll be doing 49, but I want to do a preview of 56 in this video. But anyways, that last video with the cherry blossoms and all that, that was a pretty good video. We discussed the three faces of Eve, some of the Twilight Zone episodes, the Forbidden Planet science fiction film, 1956 science fiction film called The Forbidden Planet, and Twilight Zone, Three Faces of Eve. Did we do the Star Trek one? Maybe not at that time. And then I felt like we covered a fair bit of ground, and I was sort of energized, and I think I crammed in, or I managed to cover a fair bit of ground in that short three-hour video. So I thought that was a pretty good video. Still no views, huh? Can you believe it? No views. All this interesting material. So I got to work on my presentation somehow. I have anxiety, so I get it. I have anxiety. I have not been analyzed. I'm not a shrinker professor. I'm not a doctor like that. So I'm the compiler of the quotes. I'm finding these quotes, and in an attempt to learn this, how to think like a shrink. How to think analytically. Um, all that means is that you consider the premise that um, the baby remembers what happened to him, and that memory, if it's problematic, is going to influence him later on. If you accept that premise, you're analytically minded, you're psychodynamically minded. That's it. Okay, the baby relates to the mother. Interpersonal. Interpersonal leads to the intrapsychic. Okay, that's the endopsychic structure, intrapsychic structure, internal working model, intrapsychic society. Okay, some kind of schema, blueprint, stencil, imprints, engrams, whatever you want to call it. It's something set in there with the neural wiring based by the relationship with the mother. And that's the baby's survival. That's going to be his understanding of himself and the world. The breast mother is the world for the baby. So now he has a model of himself and the world set in like that. So he'll see his daily life through the lens of that. So he'll distort the present to fit the lens of that. And if there's a problem with the mother in that lens, whereby the mother said, "Look, baby, you got to meet my needs." Um, so he's depressed by this. So in later life, if he's dysfunctional or self-defeating, um, that's the template he created. So you want a lantern to see what's going on. So these quotes are giving you a lantern, night vision, to see this template. And yesterday we talked about this issue a fair bit with the two Twilight Zone episodes. Gabe's story, the key one is Gabe's story, and it's sort of like a teaser prelude to it called Nick of Time. So I highly recommend those two Twilight Zone episodes. It's a good metaphor of what we're talking about. Okay, leaving that template, leaving that psychic house. Okay, no longer trying to win love from a mother who's no longer around anymore. Like the voices of your mother, the memory of her mother's voices, still being loyal to the old voices where mother said, baby, if you're dysfunctional, um, I'll accept you. But if you're going to be autonomous and leave me, no, you got to take care of me. And you're still doing that like decades later. So Gabe's story and Nick of Time. Um, there are a lot of episodes sort of on that basic message. A once lost and found emporium, um, to see the invisible man, and one life furnished in poverty, and take my false light, please, about the comedian guide, and several others. Um, but just as a starting point, I would say watch Nick of Time about the little toy fortune telling machine, and then follow that up with Gabe's story, where he faces this template and wants to break free from the template. He called the template a puppet master, and he was the puppet. He wants to cut the strings, so to speak, and be free from that. And he had a real struggle like that. So the analogy is, in Iron John, you got to get the key out from under this pillow. The knowledge that the mother used the baby to meet her needs. A lot of mothers, unfortunately, didn't get their needs met, so they turned to the baby for that. So the baby's going to be depressed by this. That's still dysfunctional in one way, shape, or form. He'll be dysfunctional, or has some reactivity around it. It'll be dysfunctional, but it's loyalty to the mother. Dysfunction is loyalty to the mother, saving the mother, placating the mother, pleasing the mother, hoping that one day she'll be saved and will return and be able to love in return. But doesn't make sense because there are no time machines. And plus, um, like doing something like finding an aloof man, like in the song Constitutors, finding an aloof man, thinking you're going to save him, you're going to save your aloof mother in the past. Not making sense. If the man in the present is a carbon copy, so to speak, of the mother in the past, and the mother in the past didn't have the ability to love, and this fellow in the present is the same, has the same personality, he doesn't have the ability to love, you can't save him, but you're trying to save him, thinking you're still trying to save her back then. We're not making sense like this. Yeah, this is a little awkward doing it out here. Let me take a peek inside. Um, Hang on a second. So this it's tiny little smoker section here, right? Like it's a really little, just a little kind of thing here. Actually, maybe a second thought. What if I could bring a chair out here? I just realized something. What if I brought a chair out here? Maybe I can. Hold on a second. Let's try something. Let me try an experiment here. Is the lighting okay if I do it like this? Yeah, still, it's not perfect, but it's doable. Yeah, let's do that because it's kind of busy inside and a lot of a lot of parties going on. It's funny. You won't hear them if I do the video inside and all those people are talking. You won't hear it. This phone I'm using has the feature of blotting out background noises. So it's but I hear it's kind of irritating on me, right? Um, yeah, hold on a sec. It's not too. Luckily, it's not too hot today. Give me a second here. Just give me like 2 or 3 minutes to figure this out. Hold on a sec. Let's play a little short song here. I'll lower the volume a bit. Let's pick a song while I'm setting up here. How about um, yesterday we played some Delirium. Yeah, let's play some Delirium again. Truly, self-saboteur, fallen, or um, what else? Katie Lee, Ann Shell, Dan McCafferty, Street Heart. Did I play Street Heart? It's a loud rock song, eh? Or Ain't Life a Okay, let's play Ain't Life a Brook. That's sort of a softer song. Um, okay, let's see if this works here. Ain't Life a Brook by Farron, the folk singer Farron. getting it? Geez, this dollar speaker, it's really fickle. Oh, here we
Get
go.
to thinking our love's
Okay,
all
here we go.
stone.
Here's a song called "Ain't Life Ah, Ain't Life Ah." Fill in the blank.
Watch you reading a book. I get to thinking our love's a polished stone. You give me a long, drawn look. I know pretty soon you're gonna leave our home, and of course I might. Especially when I'm thinking from my heart. But life don't clickety clack down the street line track. It come together and it come apart. You say you hope I'm not the kind to make you feel obliged to go. Taken through your time with a pain. Look in your eyes. You give me the furniture. We'll divide the photographs. Go out to dinner one more time. Have ourselves a bottle of wine and a couple of laughs. When first you left, I stayed so sad I wouldn't sleep. I know that love's a gift. I thought yours was mine, and something that I could keep. Now I realize time is not the only compromise. A bird in the hand could be an all-night stand between a blazing fire and a bucket of sky. And so I hope I'm not the kind to make you feel obliged to go. Taken through your time with a pain. Look in your eyes. I covered the furniture. I framed the photographs. Went out to dinner one more time. Had myself a bottle of wine and a couple of laughs.
All right, thank you, Farron. Great song, "Ain't Life a Brook."
I've got your letter in the mail.
Life don't.
I'm happy for you.
Life don't go clickety clack down the straight line track. You come together, then you come undone. So ups and downs, ain't like a stream, unexpected occurrences. Um, like the woman who says to herself, "Gee, I want to marry, you know, uh, I want to have a warm connection. I want to have a fountain of love. I want to have um, mutual trust and sharing and self-discovery and growing and Freude, growing together, sharing together, and working through that kind of process." Um, um, so she might consciously choose for that uh, kind of positive. Playful, growing kind of relationship. But ain't life a brook? She'll choose by compulsion somebody with the same personality as her mother, and now she's stuck with recreating what she had in the past, replicating what the parents did in the past. Now they're uh, playing that again, where she plays the role of the father, and the partner's going to play the role of the mother. Ain't life a brook? um, okay, let's try this. I'm going to start sweating here in a little while. Let's give it a try here. Um, like this. Okay, I want to, yeah, a little awkward. I had a very awkward day today with getting things started here. So we're gonna do 2949, a continuation of one form of self-defeating behavior that these two guys, Burglas and Baumeister, call Pyrrhic-revenge. Um, so we'll get to that. We'll get to that. I want to focus more on doing a preview of 56 because there's a key quote coming up. I want to practice it until we get there. So this is like a first go at it. I just found it this morning, just before coming out, and I thought, oh, this is a pretty good quote here, an older quote from an old article from an old journal, psychiatric something, medicine or something. They include occasional analytic articles, so they're like broader. 90% of it's the usual, you know, uh, uh, chemical stuff like pharmacy stuff, but there's about 10% analytic. So that they include some analytic. So just by chance, I didn't know that before. I never looked at the article. I never looked at those old journals. It's a very old journal. It's been around for 98 years and counting. It's still going on. I never referred to it. Well, I mean, you can only find the old ones. It costs a fortune to join it. But anyways, I found an old one, and this one article here by Hirsch here. So he's also talking about, um, you know, this the, the relationship underpinnings to people who use substances and that kind of thing. And the only reason I include this, we don't really cover this kind of area, but the only reason I include this because I just saw a little clip this morning at the same time about one of the Bee Gees guys, the youngest kid of the Bee Gees. I didn't know this story about the Bee Gees. So they had the three brothers, the oldest one, the twins, born at the same year apart or something. So the first three sons that were born in that family became the Bee Gees, right? And then like 10 years later, like way down the line, another boy was born, a guy named Andy, right? And I don't know, we don't know the story about why they just didn't include him and make him one of the Bee Gees. He could also sing, right? So we don't know the full story about that. But anyways, he went on his own, but he became an addict, and he died at the age of 30 due to addiction, they say. Led a very glamorous, successful life and all that. And I remember hearing a couple of his songs as a kid myself. Andy Gabriel, Shadow Dancing was his big hit or something. And funny, he never did shadow dancing, right? He never did it. He never looked at his shadow. He ignored the shadow, and here he is making $1 million writing a song. Well, face your shadow, dance with your shadow, get to know your shadow means everything about you that you don't know. That's your shadow self, your unconscious self, like unconscious dancing. Like get familiar with the stranger with him, the one who walks with you, who's not like you, who is you. That's shadow. So you want to maybe dance with him, like see him and get to know him and befriend him, kind of thing. And befriend your shadow self, secret self, okay, the repressed self. So he obviously had a huge repressed self, shadow self. And here he says, telling the world, come on, everybody, get to know your unconscious self, your shadow. I haven't looked at the lyrics, but anyways, it seems like he never did it because the inference is he was an addict, cocaine addict or something. Jesus Christ, and he died at the age of 30. Um, so he never looked at the shadow. Now, what's in the shadow? So addictions often are a symbolic attempt to get mother. You're symbolically reaching out for the blissful experience of the mother. You never got it. Maybe the mother used a baby. Maybe the mother used the baby as a narcissistic extension of her, wanting the baby to take care of her. So, it's funny because the three kids were already off and running and they were successful. So this mother has no kid here. Then the kid comes, and maybe she clings to this kid like that, and says, "Look, I feel anxiety. The three boys are gone. Yes, they sent me money, but that's not enough. So maybe she, I don't know, but maybe um, she clung to this fourth son. Look, I'm gonna fix it so you don't really leave me. You're gonna depend on me or something. Anyway, that's I'm saying this in reference to the quote coming up by Hirsch here. But anyways, they make sort of a general, a pretty good general point. Okay, let's just okay forget about Mr. Gibb here. Um, yeah, so forget about Mr. Gibb, but it did kind of inspire me to include this quote because I did see the Gibb story, so there's a little influence like that. But we don't have a thread on this. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a doctor, so I don't really have any quotes in this kind of area. So this is like maybe the first or second of this type. But here we go. Anyways, so you got my disclaimer. I'm not a doctor. Okay, the infantilization of the son. The infantilization of the son by the narcissistic mother who rejects the child when her demands and needs are not met. Yeah, this is very common. It's hard to believe this. It's hard to admit this. But a lot of mothers, too many mothers, okay, when they were a baby themselves, they didn't get their needs met. It may be that their mother was turning to the child to comfort them and meet like that. So you cross over identification with the aggressor, and then you treat your child the way you were treated due to a phenomena called negative magic gesture, repetition compulsion, in your attempt to remember what happened to you. So we repeat in an attempt to remember. We don't remember the trauma, so we recreate it in an attempt to remember. If we remember it, we stop repeating. So let's say there's a thing called a blissful oneness. If the baby and the mother are meant to be in a blissful oneness. I'm not really seeing myself. Are you seeing me okay? It's all very cloudy. I barely see myself in the with the glare and the reflection. Hopefully on the playback it's not so bad, right? Unless I can. What if I do this? Can I do this? Okay. This is a little better, right? Yeah, that's a little better, right? Hold on a second. Let's try this. Oh yeah, okay. Oh yeah, okay, okay. Oh, that's a little better, yeah. Yeah. The first time to do this in a smoker section of a little restaurant. Okay. With my luck, the smokers will start coming in. Uh, just a coincidence. It's possible, yeah. So, as usual, there'll be a few interruptions. Okay, let's. So, babies need a blissful oneness of the mother. This is a blissful, paradisical, blissful oneness kind of feeling. Um, so, if they don't get that period of time with the mother for the first 4 to 5 months post birth, they don't get that psychological egg, that mother infant dual unity, that blissful oceanic feeling, that blissful oneness, yeah, this participation mystique, this unio um, mystica, one with this big mystery, uh, the blissful oneness. One guy calls it oceanic ecstasy or something. This interesting about that phrase, oceanic ecstasy, related to this topic here, uh, because he was an addict like that looking. So the babies feel this blissful kind of feeling. Um, we don't know if these addict guys feel what the baby felt, but there's some kind of link like that. Anyways, so babies need a blissful oneness of the mother for the first 4 to 5 months. Okay, it's kind of like an extended social interpersonal womb-like condition. Okay, so in the womb, in the actual womb, it's a blissful feeling. He's floating around with the oceanic feeling, oceanic bliss, oceanic oneness, and he thinks he's the whole thing. He's in his solipsistic bubble. He can't see past the end of his nose. Carol Burnett show yesterday about that one. Um, so he thinks it's all about him. Everything's for him. He thinks maybe everything is him, or everything around him is just there to serve him, and he's the center of it all. He's entitled. He's center stage. Everything's about him. Everything's for him, and he's entitled. It's all about him, and he feels like a blissful thing. And all the power of the mother, the omnipotence of the powerful mother for the little baby, he thinks that's his. That's called infantile megalomania, the megalomaniacal self, this glorified, idealized self. So he feels like a king or a god, special, blissful, floating out kind of feeling, uh, like that. So he needs that blissful oneness with the mother, not knowing that the mother is separate from him, thinking that the mother is either just there to serve him or is actually him. Anyways, when he's born, biologically born, and makes the transition from the water world to the land world, that quality is meant to continue for the first 4 to 5 months, they say. Okay, so that's like a psychological egg. He's still in that blissful fusional kind of place. And then at 4 to 5 months of age, he starts to hatch out. And it's gradual hatching up until the age of 3.5. But originally, he needs that blissful. A lot of babies are not getting that. See, a lot of mothers they're betraying their babies. A lot of mothers, too many mothers, it seems, are betraying. It's called the betrayal trauma. A lot of mothers are betraying the basic trust of their baby. So the baby has a trust that the oneness of the mother, that the mother will be there for him. The baby has an innate expectation that it'll be that the mother will be there. What do they do when the baby's born? Unfortunately, there's a very disturbed thing that's been going on for a long time, for 10,000 years, or six. Well, according to Star Trek, it's 6,000 years. I've been saying 10,000 years. The cord and the placenta are removed prematurely. That's the bridge to the mother. Baby loses the bridge to the mother. Where's the mother? Mother, where are you? Okay, he freezes up. Pin goes on a collar. Flat affect. Alexithymia. No words for your feelings. Yeah. Uh, um, Athimoalexia. No feelings for your words. Alexithymia. No feelings for your. Sorry, hang on. The Greek word is athimoalexia, no feelings for your words. And the other one is alexithymia, no words for your feelings. The jargon is flat affect. Okay, so the beingness, the aliveness that we have, this humming, this feeling real and alive, this beingness quality, the personified as a princess. Okay, she morphs into a swan and flies away. Or the princess is locked in the tower, Rapunzel. Or the princess is like Snow White in a box, in a coma like that. Or the princess turns to stone, like Echo turns to stone. So it's gone like that. That's a betrayal. That's a huge betrayal. Yes, the brain will send the mercy of the endorphins, the numbing. It's funny. It's still on my mind. That little had a little interaction um, inside trying to do this video. It's kind of like it's kind of coming up. Hold on a second. Okay, my contributing factor to the little mishap was I didn't inform the neighboring parties that I'd play my theme song, the opening song for like 2 minutes. I just kind of thought there's so much noise going on already. Uh, I felt like maybe it was okay or something. Um, so I had a reaction about I played my music at the beginning and they all freaked out on me, and so that's my bad, right? I was too focused on myself, right? I kind of um, didn't consider that it might upset the people sort of near me like that. So I had a surprise reaction. Oh, jeez, yikes! That's probably why I'm outside. It's no louder than the music above head, right? So that's why kind of it all blended in, kind of. That's no excuse, right there. That's very rare. It's very rare. Yeah. And anytime it's funny about where I am, locals are very hospitable, friendly, like that. Anytime somebody's annoyed or or something uh, like that happens, it's always with some um, stressed out visitor or tourist or expat or something like that. All my little unpleasant encounters have been from that kind of area. It's never with the locals. This is their home. They grew up in this sunny place here. Um, I even saw the doorman um, doing his exercises. Um, okay, let me get back on track here. I kind of got sidetracked here. Okay, so let's pick up on this point here. When there's trauma, okay, there's the unconscious hope for the fulfillment of old unfulfilled needs. So let's say the woman as a baby didn't get that oneness with her mother. So this daughter grows up and is has that unconscious constant craving, this constant yearning for that blissful feeling, that blissful oneness. But post that critical time, it was missed. You're meant to identify it, mourn it, and then you're okay. But if you don't mourn it, you still have the hope for it. So enter the baby on the scene. All right, baby. When I was a baby, I didn't get the oneness of my mother. You provide that for me. I'm going to parentify you. So I want you to make me the center, make me number one all the time, and I'm entitled. So you don't leave me because you're going to be there. Your job is to take care of me, see me, respond to me. I don't want to feel alone. I don't want to feel alone. I need what they now call narcissistic supply. So, baby, I need narcissistic supply in a constant, addictive, dependency on you, baby. I'm going to be addicted to you, and you're going to be codependent on my addiction to you. And I'm going to create this mess. So I need a constant supply. Now, it doesn't work. Post that critical time, no one or anything can be that missing experience that was needed back in the nursery. But the mother has this compulsion because that trauma is in a part of the brain that has no time. All the energy is in that part of the brain that has no time. That all that energy that's meant for your beingness is not available to you because the beingness flew away. Snow White's in a coffin. So your energy goes to that traumatic memory in that brain that has no time. That's called id now. All the energy there, it's called id. The id is, we know, very powerful like that. It's like an engine. It's a powerful force, like the iceberg metaphor. So it's kind of driving the person in this infinite loop like that with the baby. So the mother's being driven by this compulsion, this constraint to still get the missing oneness of the mother. So what the mother does is, all right, baby, if you're going to be autonomous, if you have any needs for me, forget it. You want to be autonomous, forget it. I'm going to withdraw. I'm going to punish you. If you take care of me, I'll reward you. Fine. So make up your mind. You're with me or against me, baby. Baby freaks out. Baby will dance to any tune the mother sings. Baby's got to get along with the mother. Baby's got to have a connection with the mother. No baby would make it without a mother. So the baby will sacrifice himself in whatever way the mother wants to please the mother. Mother says, fine. So she rewards this self-defeating, this giving up of the child's happiness, this giving up of his autonomy. She rewards that. She rewards that. That's how he gets mother. If he does that, it's like conditional love. If you're not happy, I'll reward you. If you're going to try to be happy, I'll punish you. The mother does this to condition the baby to be a constant source of narcissistic supply, okay, for her. She doesn't care because she feels entitled. She feels entitled because she's coming from the place that when she was a baby, she was entitled to get mother's love, but she didn't get it. That attitude is still there. And she might use slogans like, oh, mother's rights, or I gave you birth, it's my right, come on, mother knows best. She might use these kind of self-justifications and excuses and rationalizations to BS herself and the child. She doesn't care. She just has to find some way to cloak and camouflage what she's really doing, and she feels entitled like this. That's the key one. The babies are entitled to get the oneness. That mother didn't get it, so she's trying to get it using the baby. That's called childhood parentification. She's going to parentify the baby, make the baby be a mother for her. Okay, so that means, what's this child going to do? Let's say it is a son. Let's say it is a boy. What's this boy going to do? All right, mother, I'll be self-defeating. I won't try. I won't have any initiative, which means I won't have my agency and self-autonomy and my personhood status of who I am and being myself and being who I was meant to be by the Great Spirit, becoming who I was meant to become, a natural state of affairs. I won't. I'll give all that up to take care of you, mother. Okay. Mother says, good, I get a supply. So she never feels alone. She becomes addicted like this. She becomes addicted to this supply. She's very invested in this. Okay, back to the Carol Burnett show. That mother there, in an episode called A Visit from Dan, that mother, Carol Burnett played Eunice, somebody named Eunice, and she just got some bad news that her husband is going to dump her for the waitress. She's devastated. She's going to be a single mother, no work, no skills, doesn't know how to type, doesn't know how to operate the switchboard. She's going to be a single mother in the 60s. It was a sad kind of a state, so she's very sad by that. And what her mother said? And do you want to know what her mother said? Um, she complained about something that her ex-son-in-law once said to her, and she's making it all about her. And then Eunice says, look at that, mother. Here my life is devastated. My life is a catastrophe now. And here you are, center stage. And the visitor, Dan, said, gee, and I thought my mother couldn't see past the end of her nose. Okay, so that mother made it all about her. She twisted the situation. She had to be center stage. It had to be about her. She can't make it about the daughter. She's got to make it about her. Even when the daughter's devastating, she's in the fetal position. She's crying. She's in the fetal position. The mother can't give because she's trying to receive like that. So actually, the mother likes it that that her daughter's going to be miserable because then she'll spend more energy and more time on her. So she actually kind of hopes it to be like that. So then the Dan guy came in, the visitor Dan guy came in, tried to comfort Eunice. Well, Eunice, think of it this way, when one door closes, another door opens, and you're gonna find aspects of yourself that you didn't know you had. You're gonna find parts of yourself and reclaim parts of yourself that you didn't know you had, and you're gonna be the free creature you're always meant to be. Okay, he was trying to give her like a little pep talk or something, trying to cheer up, give her a pep talk, and the mother, the mother charged in to Dan. Dan, I don't know what spaceship you came off. Okay, so the mother freaked out and tried to stop Dan from helping her because it looked like Dan was giving her encouragement to go on with her life. The mother interrupted Dan. No, don't do that. I need her to give me supply. It's got to be all about me. I need her to give me supply. I like that she's unhappy. Then she'll pay more attention to me. Don't interrupt her. Help her to be free. So she was invested in this kind of thing. There's a huge construction buzzing sound in front of me. Now I don't know if you're hearing it or not. The camera seems to pick up whatever the loudest noise is or something. It blots out everything else. I don't really like this new audio feature in this phone. I'm using a budget phone. My regular phone, yeah, I've talked about it already. This is my regular phone, the Honor 8S. It's a great phone. Almost 7 years, 3 continents, 1,200 videos, 10,000 quotes. Light as a feather, fits in your pocket. Very simple, nimble thing. Um, Somebody called it a kid's phone. Um, Suffered the elements. Kind of came to its end. So if I plug in the outer speaker and plug in the battery, I might be able to use it as the music player. So in the meantime, I got this clunker. This clunker I'm holding is uh, like 2 to 3 times heavier than this. It's 20% taller and wider. It's like a brick almost. So, but the clunker has the odd feature that it blots out background noises. At the same time, the overall quality of the audio isn't good. It's kind of wavy and a little muffled sometimes. You can't hear it sometimes. Got to strain a little bit. It sounds like it's from like a long distance call, but there's no internet, there's no phone. I don't know why it's doing that. So I got to decide whether to keep this phone or figure something else out. Where are we here? Are we still recording? Okay. Okay, so in other words, the mother feels entitled to use the son like a servant to her kind of thing. So it's just a thing to the mother. She feels entitled to thingify the child. This child's not getting his needs met. This child didn't get the blissful oneness. So he may turn to substances or activities to evoke um, the chemistry in the brain to provoke up the old feelings that he was in a blissful state with his mother when he was in the uterus. So he may engage in that kind of thing to take refuge in the blissful oneness. He didn't get enough of it to graduate out of that. So he's in pain because of that. To deal with the pain, he goes back and regresses to bring up the fantasies that once upon a time in the good old days in the uterus he was a god and a king. So that seems to be what these substance users are doing. Um, Also in other things too, like smoking, drinking, legal, illegal. All this kind of messing with your brain chemistry. It's to stimulate the fantasies. It's to provoke the fantasies, the old fantasies that you had where you're in a blissful place. So, so, so the cigarette and the bottle of wine function as an ersatz mother, an ersatz self-object, an addictive trigger mechanism to use the chemistry to bring up the fantasies, and from the fantasies of being a little god, then from those fantasies of being a little god, you get the serotonin and oxytocin, the blissful feeling that you once upon a time had in the uterus. They called Mr. Gibb like the golden boy, and they had all this high praise for him like that, and they were trying to hide the fact that he was an addict like this. So maybe okay, let's not personalize. I don't know if the real details here, but okay. So just back to in general terms. So here's a quote, an old quote from a journal by Robert Hirsch here. The infantilization of the son by the narcissistic mother who rejects the child when her demands and needs are not met. You didn't meet my needs, baby. I withdraw my love. I punish you. You didn't meet my needs. I need supply. I need to be the center. Okay, you got to make it all about me like that. Don't ask me something. No, that's an insult. Your job is to serve me. Um, I gave you the opportunity to serve me. That's what I gave you. You got to be grateful for that. Um, so I'm entitled for this. So she has a real arrogant, egocentric attitude, the narcissistic mother, to do this onto the child, right? So how's that child going to feel? Okay, how's he going to feel? The worthlessness experienced by addicts, the very masochism reflected in their behavior, typifies. So he's going to be masochistic because this pain he's receiving, it's with the mother, but it's pain. It's called the libidinalization of pain, the libidinalization of shame and guilt and pain. He's got to make it pleasurable. He's got to associate this mistreatment as pleasure, called the pleasure and displeasure phenomena. So he's going to become emotionally masochistic or psychic masochism or emotional masochism, moral masochism. He's got to find some way to make pleasurable. Um, well, no, sorry. He blurs in the state having a mother, that's pleasure, with the pain of the mother. So the pain equals mother. Okay, if pain equals mother, he needs a mother, and mother is safety and pleasure. But pain is that. So pain is mother, pain is safety, pain is safety. That's called psychic masochism, emotional masochism, moral masochism, whatever you want to call it. So he becomes masochistic like this. Okay, okay, now this okay, this masochism is going to be reflected in their behavior. Okay, again, the worthlessness experienced by addicts, um, the very masochism reflected in their behavior typifies the image that the addict sees of himself through the eyes of the mother. That's the key line here. Okay, so his behavior, his dysfunctional behavior, his treating himself so badly like this, him harming his organs, him giving him any person damaging their body like this reflects how he saw himself through the eyes of his mother. That's how he saw himself, through the eyes of his mother. The eyes of his mother. That's how he saw himself. So he does that to himself. That's a reflection of how he sees himself through the eyes of the mother. So this self-defeating behavior, this self-sabotaging behavior, this self-harming behavior, uh, like consciously, he knows it's harmful. Anybody who takes that stuff knows it's harmful, right? Any smoker knows. Any smoker knows they're damaging their lungs. So let's just simply take the smoker or the drinker. They know it's damaging. They know it's damaging. This masochistic, this mistreatment of themselves, that's their understanding of themselves. That's the image of themselves that they had of themselves when they looked into their mother's eyes and he saw how she saw him. And this is all a reflection of how he saw himself through his mother's eyes. Interesting way of putting it. Now, the mother, by the way, feels entitled, she's addicted, and she feels powerful. Mothers of addicts, especially boys, have a powerful need to infantilize their offspring. In doing so, a mother bolsters her own omnipotence. So she gets the blissful feeling um, when she um, shames her own baby to replay how she had been shamed by her mother, and she made the Faustian deal, the Faustian pact, the Faustian bargain called identification with the aggressor. So she'll shame herself the way the mother shamed her. So she shames her baby, thinking the baby will be a stand-in or a narcissistic extension of her, a proxy of her, a narcissistic extension of her, a proxy of her. So the baby will stand in for her. Okay, she becomes a shaming mother and replays what happened to her. So originally the mother wanted love, mother said no. She crosses over, becomes a no mother, says no to herself, gets the baby to play that part of her and says no to the baby playing her. Okay, and that means she feels that the omnipotence means in the Faustian deal, the Faustian bargain, you get mother's power because you act like the mother. Of course, you got to pay a huge price. You got to sell your soul to have mother's power, and you live forever because there's no time in that brain. That part of the brain is timeless. It's eternal. There's no time, timeless, timelessness. So that's why they say live forever. So the mother feels powerful all the time. All she's got to do is sell her soul. Okay, so find her child to play the role of her soul and shame her child, and she feels powerful. That's called Schadenfreude. Okay, greed, envy, entitlement, spite, and she makes excuses. And what does a reasonable mind do? It's co-opted to create justifications, excuses, rationalizations, flim-flammery, duplicity, any kind of tricky lies, propaganda lies, rhetoric lies, advertising lies, any kind of deceptive kind of thing. That's just a smokescreen. Smokescreen. That's what she's using her brilliant mind for, to create smoke screens. And it's sad like that, right? Now back to Nick of Time. That the wife said to the fellow, you do have a mind. Why waste your good mind? Why waste your good mind trying to justify um, your uh, something that reminds you of your abusive mother to yourself? Again, a good quote. I think this is a good quote. Again, the infantilization of the son by the narcissistic mother who rejects this child when her needs are not met. Okay, start from there. Now, okay, so all this addictive stuff, emotional eating, drinking, smoking, etc., or the Andy Gibb thing, whatever, all that kind of thing. Okay, that's all a symptom of trauma. That's all trauma based. That's all trauma based. All dysfunction in behavior or usage of things. That's all trauma. That all comes from the trauma. The trauma leads to that. Because that stuff is symbolic of the unmet need. That stuff, this ersatz stuff or behavior, okay, is symbolic of the mother's needs that's missing. So now you have what's called a neurotic need. A neurotic need. So Andy Gibb had a neurotic need for that stuff that Eric Clapton sings about all the time. Well, I'm surprised he didn't sing that song, huh? My goodness. I think that guy did a huge harm on humanity. That song, that Mr. Clapton. I'm sorry to say that, but I think having millions of people chanting that white powdered stuff and praising him. Oh, this powder stuff. Yeah, she don't lie. She don't lie. Your mother lied to you. Your mother failed you. Well, this white powder stuff. She don't lie. She don't lie. She don't lie. Have sing it with me now, everybody. And they got thousands and thousands of people screaming it. And that's a huge promotion. That's the immense promotion. He's a huge pusher. I'm sorry. I think that guy's a huge pusher in this area. And maybe little Andy Gibb grew up singing that song, and was drawn to it by that. Oh, she don't lie. My mother lied to me. Yeah, my mother lied to me. Oh, you mean Mr. Clapton, my hero? You mean this white powder doesn't lie to me? Yeah, that's right. She don't lie. She don't lie. Oh, she don't lie. So that becomes a neurotic substitute of mother. Now, this substitute of mother can never be actual mother, but you're looking for mother. Somebody's looking for mother, the real need from the mother. When that's unmet, you look for symbolic of that. Let's read that Janoff quote. Yeah, here we go. An infant, an infant For example, an infant who is weaned from the breast too early learns how to disguise and change his need into symbolic ones. For example, one guy became a chain smoker, cigarette's the nipple or something. Or the cigarette was the thumb, the child used the thumb because the nipple wasn't there. Something symbolic, but the thumb and the cigarette, it cannot be the actual. It's symbolic of that, right? So his need to smoke, his smoke is just symbolic. Plus, the thumb and the cigarette or the cigar, whatever, um, functions as a ersatz self-object, a fake, missing symbolic uh, self-object. Okay, the mother's real breast mother is missing. The real one, the real thing is missing. So you get this ersatz self-object. So the breast mother is a self-object. Self-object just means the mother is there to meet the baby's needs, serve the baby, comfort the baby, soothe the baby, see the baby, meet the baby's needs, recognize the baby, be present for the baby. She's the self-object. Okay, the mother is there to function as a self-object for the baby, a symbiotic object for the baby. That's missing, right? So you find some fake thing to fill in for that, some synthetic substitute thing, that something to fill in for that. That's called ATM, addictive trigger mechanism. So you do the trick where you stimulate chemistry in your brain to bring up old fantasies where once upon a time in the good old days, pathological nostalgia, you were in a blissful state in the uterus, and then you do it like that. So it's all symbolic. Symbolic satisfactions, however, cannot fulfill real needs. So what's the difference between real needs and neurotic needs? Well, real needs are natural needs that the baby has to grow and to develop at his own pace. Okay, so the attunement, mother doesn't force um, the feeding when the baby's not hungry. Mother doesn't force the child to walk before he's ready to walk. Okay, the father doesn't throw the ball at the kid before he's ready to, see the ball and catch it or something. Before the baby's neurological apparatus can comfortably catch the ball. So you got to be attuned to meet the baby's needs. The timing is important for the baby. Okay, so he has real needs to be seen, to be understood, to get support according to his developmental place. He has these kind of real needs, basically, right? So, so um, now when okay, so neurotic needs, okay, develop from the non-satisfaction of real needs. So when the real needs are unmet, you get neurotic needs that are symbolic. The neurotic needs, neurotic needs, dysfunctional needs, are poofed up when the real needs are unmet. If the real needs are met, you won't have neurotic needs. So emotional eaters, smokers, drinkers, etc. They probably didn't get mother's sweetness. Maybe it was a weaning issue, or maybe the plastic bottle was used, and the rubber nipple, and the powder stuff. That'll do it too. Okay, back to Mr. Hirsch here. Okay, so here's the confusing thing about um, how does the child cope with the pain with the mother, where mother is pleasure, but mother's giving him pain. So the jargon is the libidinalization, life force, life force is pleasurable, um, making pleasurable of the pain, the libidinalization of shame, guilt, pain, etc. That's called psychic masochism. So he's this guy's quoting somebody who I know was a fan of Burglar, who was the leader of this. The very young child misidentifies punishment and criticism as a form of pleasure, and thus goes through life reliving under the repetition compulsion the original distortion. Okay, one guy, Berliner, forgot his first name, went on to state that the hated child denies the parental ill treatment and accepts hate as if it were love. Quote, suffering is thus libidinalized and introjected, and the trauma becomes like normal, egosyntonic, they say. It's not strange for him, it's just normal. It's what it is, kind of thing. Oh, mother is not there for me, although she loves me. That's her way of loving me, but you feel pain. Yeah, well, but that's love. That's how she shows. That's her love language. But you feel pain. You didn't get your needs met. Oh, I know it's painful, but that's love. So he doesn't realize um, the pain of not getting his real needs met, um, and he just assumes um, it's just a trick. He just associates the pain with associates the pain with the need of mother's love, and thinks the pain is mother's love. So to get mother's love, he's got to recreate the pain, repetition compulsion. So um, now it's hard to admit this to ourselves. So we tend to confess to a lesser crime, Bergman says. That's like the major crime. So we become dysfunctional and say, well, if there's a problem in life, it's some other thing, some rescue station, some lesser crime thing. So yeah, the cigarettes, they're badly made. I'll blame the cigarettes. That's the problem. The cigarettes are the problem. Okay. Well, that's confession to a lesser crime. The real crime is that you um, libidinalized, made pleasure at the pain you received from the mother, called psychic masochism, but you don't know that. So you don't want to know that you're guilty about that. So it's too much to know the guilt about that. So you quote unquote confess to a lesser crime. Oh, well, yeah, no, it's a cigarette. Yeah, I'm guilty. Fine, I'm a smoker. I get it. Yes, I'm a smoker. Damn cigarettes. Okay, so you confess to that, but you do that to avoid, as a distraction, to avoid the major one, like a straw man thing or something. You just pick something else that's minor to focus on, to ignore the bigger issue. The bigger issue: mother betrayed you, she failed you, and you made a crime. You did this disturbing thing where you made a crime to yourself, and your mother was a criminal to you, and you covered up for mother by saying, no, mother's good, she gave me pain, no, she's good. So you're covering up for the mother because you need to have a mother somehow. You're doing this major thing like this. You're covering up for the abuse of mother, and say mother's wonderful. That's psychic masochism. So to protect the mother, we confess to other things. Our defense is against that pain. Okay, okay. Next, okay. One more here from Mr. Hirsch. An unhappy marriage reluctantly entered into by the woman who is extremely ambivalent toward her children. Okay, so let's say a woman gets married. She's not happy, doesn't like the guy, and now she's got kids. Now what? The mother presents a character. So one mother presented a characteristic picture of narcissism, drama, soap opera stuff, and etc. So this, in the end, the child is a narcissistic extension of the mother who gives to herself when she goes through the motion of giving to the child. Okay. So one way of putting it is, when the mother wants comfort for herself and thinks the child's a part of her, she doesn't care what the child needs or wants. She gives to the child what she wants. She gives to herself. So whatever quote unquote giving she gives, it's only in the context that she thinks she's giving it to herself. Mother, why are you doing this? Isn't it nice? No, I don't need this. You want that. I'm not you. What about me? No, no, child, you're me. You're a part of me. You're not you. Um, okay, anyways, it's the first one I think is good. Again, the infantilization of the soul, infantilization. Stay dependent on me. Don't grow up. Don't find yourself. Don't know your interests. Or don't do it. One mother punished the child for doing homework. She slammed the homework off the table. Don't do that homework. What do you need that for? You don't need that stuff. You come to me. You got any questions? You want to know something? You come to me. You don't be you don't have your own mind. You don't think for yourself. You don't learn and leave me. No, you come. So she wasn't. You think she's giving something to the child like that? She's giving something to herself. some distraction below. All right. The infantilization of the son. The infantilization of the son by the narcissistic mother. I was just thinking maybe I did a positive spin, right? I had an uncomfortable encounter with the guest there, and it prompted me to come out here, and it's nice out here. It's nice to be on the balcony for a change. And I don't, no one's hearing me, no one's bothering me, so I mean, yeah, so this worked out. Sometimes I find new things in reaction to someone's something not being available. You find something better almost, right? Yeah, this is actually better than where. Yeah, this is actually better than doing it inside where I was. Okay, again, the infantilization of the son by the narcissistic mother who rejects the child when her needs are not met. The unworthiness experienced by dysfunctional people, the very masochism reflected in their behavior, typifies the image that the dysfunctional person sees of themselves through the eyes of their mother, or some reactivity against it, or some counterphobic reactivity against it. So now you if you don't want to admit that, one version of it is the, the, the counter reaction of it. Like from it, you just springboard from it by doing an exaggerated reverse flip of it. It's still the source point. Okay, so if somebody is the bully pattern, um, okay, that's just the reaction formation up underneath all the wound and the shame they feel. No, no, my mother saw me like that. I gotta be that. No, no, society says I can't show that. So they flipped it in a counterphobic reaction, okay, called reaction formation or counterphobia. There's so much phobia about this, so maybe there's a counter reaction, like another defense. Shall I compare thee to an onion? So underneath the bully pattern, underneath is what they're avoiding. But ironically, somebody with the bully pattern might be a user of some kind. They might be a drinker or something. So he's still abusing himself. Um, well, that's the image of what he thinks about himself through the eyes of his mother. The mother rejected him, okay, when he didn't meet her needs. So she hated him. She despised him. She was disgusted with him, repulsed with him. So he's repulsed with himself, just rejects himself, because that's how he sees himself. That's a reflection of how he understands about himself, that he learned about himself through the eyes of his mother. Back to the mother's eyes, right? So that's that book won an award. That book won an award. Mayor, what's her name? Mary Ayers or something, called The Mother, The Eyes of Shame, or Mother Infant Attachment, The Eyes of Shame, or something like that. It's got that big eye on the front cover. That book won an award. It's an okay book. It's not to inspire. I don't remember, to tell you the truth, but we have a few quotes from it. But just to address this topic about the importance of how babies are going to relate to themselves by how the mother sees the child. Okay, so in normal development, the mother is a baby and she is a delight, an acceptance. Nature's greatest miracle. What a delight. What a mystery. What a beautiful thing. What, child, how amazing. I'm so delighted that you're here. And, never, Augmentino's line was, never, like she'll think to himself, never in all of history was there ever any child like mine one here. Never in the future will there ever be anyone just like this child here. This is really unique. This is a spiritual mystery like this. What a delight like this. So the mother has this acceptance and delight and a welcoming attitude. So when the child looks in the mother's eyes, he sees what she sees about him. And that's his understanding of himself, or the way she understands him. He understands himself like that. How the mother treats the baby, he wires it in and treats himself like that. If the mother looks at him with shame, he looks at himself with shame. And then the ongoing looping symbolic repetition compulsion of that, the repetition compulsion of that bad looking by the mother, it could be self-defeating, smoking, drinking, other stuff, or other negative dysfunctional behaviors, or some variation, basically anything dysfunctional, neurotic, or exaggerated or extreme or something. So mothers need to be in a place emotionally where they welcome the baby and hold the baby and say, "Welcome, baby. I'm so delighted you're here." Not she's not delighted because she thinks she's going to get her needs met using the baby. Not that kind of delight. All right, baby, I'm so glad you're here. You're going to meet my needs. Finally, I waited my whole life to get my needs met. You're going to meet mine. Not that kind of perverse delight. Not that kind of harmful delight. Just the genuine delight that that the child's going to be who they're meant to be. Nature's greatest miracle. The odds of her child being here are 1 in 400 trillion. That's by the Great Spirit. The mother has a sacred guardian of this spiritual phenomena. Like this special thing is she's a guardian of this. Like she's what a delightful thing, Jesus. Right? And the child sees that. That builds self-esteem for the child. If the mother looks at him with accepting eyes, he accepts himself. Everything the mother does to the child, it's recorded and treats himself like that. If the mother recognizes and understands what's going on with the child, he has that experience and he'll have that in the wiring. Well, he'll investigate and help self-reflection on himself. If the mother's reflection on him, he'll have self-reflection on himself. If the mother's empathy for him, he'll have empathy for himself. If the mother's present to him, emotionally available and present to him, he'll be emotionally available and present to himself. He'll have a feeling of presence like that. If the mother like recognizes, sees, hears, feels him, soothes him, he can do those things for himself, etc. That I kind of like this. This is a very good, um, helpful quote. I thought whatever you're doing that you recognize as self-defeating, okay, that's that's a picture of how you saw yourself through your mother's eyes, and you're recreating and you're loyal to her. See, mother, I'm loyal to you. I'm doing all dysfunction is loyalty to the mother. Dysfunction, addictive things, that's loyalty to the mother. So Morton Keysen's quotes 2291 and 2. Morton Keysen. Okay, now let's change topics here. So on how to make an I statement. So we've covered Susan Campbell's version, 2360 on how to make an I statement. Mr. Rosenberg's version called Offner, OFNR, on how to make an I statement. I'm not going to redo the whole thing on how to make an I statement. But here's just a quick one little question, like a self-help question you can ask yourself. When we use I statements, we set up an examination process, so to speak. We ask ourselves, what does this situation really mean to me? So take any situation, anytime you're unhappy, okay, you can start off with that. What does this situation, let's say 3, 6, 8, so 8 words. Okay, what does this situation, that's 4, right? Really mean to me, another 4. Okay, what does this situation really mean to me? So 8 words. So try to remember these 8 words. What does this situation really mean to me? Okay, so when they complain about the music inside, what did that situation really mean to me? Well, my thought actually crossed over. What did it mean to them? Like for a minute, like when I played this song, and they freaked out. What did that mean to them? I interrupted them, so they felt interrupted. They could have asked me, "How long is the music going to be for, sir?" Or they could have. It's kind of loud like that. I only play like 1 or 2, maybe 3 songs on average. Um, I like to open the video up with an opening song kind of thing. Now that I have the music player, but of course they don't know that. But the waitress could have told them, "Oh, don't worry, it'll be over in 2 minutes." So what did it mean to me that they would complain like that? Well, they didn't ask me. They didn't check in with me and my needs like that. They didn't seek to clarify any misunderstanding. I didn't think it was going to affect them. They're at the other end of the restaurant. So it triggered the lack of courage by my parents to check things out and figure out what's going on. He just had this knee-jerk reaction and complain. Why didn't you investigate? So they didn't investigate. My parents didn't investigate. Um, I try to investigate things usually myself, figure out what's going on. Sometimes it's messy and clumsy, but I'm trying, right? Kind of thing. They didn't try, right? Okay. Anyways, so let's think about the guy who's reaching for the beer bottle. He's not thirsty, but he's reaching for the beer bottle. What does this situation really mean to him? What does this situation really mean to him? Didn't get mother's stimulating fluid, breast milk. Didn't get mother's spirit, maternal spirits, alcoholic spirits, symbolic for mother's spirit. Didn't get the spirit like that. So all you do is the trick of the concentrated sugar. Okay, so beer is bread, right? Liquid bread. Okay, beer is liquid bread basically, right? So you got the bread, carbohydrates, sugar, concentrated sugar. Okay, that concentrated sugar. Okay, when the brain gets the sugar, the brain thinks, "Oh my God, a huge surplus, an abundance of food. Oh, the person's safe here. Okay, now that we're safe with this abundance of food, well, from the safety you get serotonin. Now we get serotonin, feel good, I'm safe. Now he feels safe. It's a trick by the food route, but he never felt safe with the mother. So he gets a symbolic way of doing it with the trick of tricking his brain to make him feel safe, to stand in the missing safe, to stand in for the missing safety that he should have felt with his mother, and have a wiring like that. That wiring with the mother is missing. So you're always getting this. Now that turns into symbolic need or neurotic need. So this drinker has it like a neurotic need. Okay, it's. So the neurotic needs are there when the real needs are not met. Janov's quote. Problem is I can't really walk around here. It's just I'm just plugged here. Or else, I could try at the nice hotel place or just stay here. Maybe I'll take a little musical break. Yeah, I can play music here now. Yeah, let's play music here. What do you want to hear? Any requests? Oh, we should play Andy Gibb. Oh my God, since we talked about it, I forgot about that. I looked it up quickly. He had 3 hit songs. Can you believe it? 3 hit songs gave him $10 million. 3 songs. 3 songs. He got $10 million for 3. Unbelievable. The other stuff, whatever. But it's really those 3 songs, right? One of them was written by someone else, I think. Um, oh, okay. We're gonna play a song, right? Ain't Life a Brook. We've never played this song here. Here's another song by Vonda Shah. I've never played this one here. Now let's try this one here. Lose My Way. So here's another song by the singer Vonda Shepherd. Never played it before. Let's try this one here. Lose My Way.
I wanna lose lose my way and my sense of direction. I wanna lose my bearings and my point of reference. Wanna go where everything don't remind me of our happiness that we sacrificed for some unknown bliss. I wanna lose my place in this world I've created. To know who I am is so overrated. Wanna break away until my longing is faded and change my fate. Wanna dream again, go out dancing. I wanna laugh again till I lose my mind. Heavy heart when we fall again from the weight of this longing inside of me. I believe I thought I found me a home, but all I want is to run away, run from my life tonight. I wanna lose my way and my sense of direction. I wanna lose my bearings and my point of reference.
Yeah, that song's not on our soundtrack. We have two of her songs, 100 Tears Away, and of course the famous, her big hit, Searching My Soul one. Okay, this next one is just one way to try to appreciate the importance of regarding your dreams as messages from you to you, letters, like a letter from you to you. Don't you want to read it? Kind of thing. Suppose that one morning a letter arrives at your door, along with the bills and flyers. This one stands out. The handwriting is somewhat familiar, though you are not sure where you have seen it before. It's in a nice thick envelope. You take it to your desk and set it there, but you don't open it. The following morning, a similar envelope arrives. Again, you set it on your desk. Again, it remains unopened. Days and days go by. Each morning, a letter arrives, and never do you open one. An unlikely scenario, right? But it is what happens with so many of us because the letters are our dreams, an important message from us to us. Inside all of us resides a dreamer, a poet, a child. And night after night, that mischievous child tells us a story. He or she takes weird events of the day and mixes them up with weird events of long ago. Dreams tell us what we know and sometimes what we don't want to know. Dreams tell us what's going on inside. It's like this in your soul today. It tells you what's going on. They are springboards for creativity. They are important letters from us to us. Dreams can tell us much about how we are living our lives, where we are caught up in our lives, where we are making mistakes. Dreams resurrect people from our past. Why? What do they mean today? The alert dreamer can help herself to find her way through things that are bedeviling her. What does it make you think of? What is the feeling that you have in the dream? And what does it remind you of? What does it suggest to you? And so on. So you want to free associate and unpack and read the letter. Unanalyzed dreams or unlooked at dreams are like unopened letters. Johnny Sanford makes a big deal about it. He says, all the energy of your unconscious, that's the id. Sometimes the id is personified like a mythological god. And if that god sends, if Poseidon sends you a letter, don't you want to read it? If your soul sends you a letter, come on, don't you want to read it? Your own soul sends you a letter. Don't you want to read it? So whatever you get in the morning, whatever little snippet you get, that's like a letter. And you want to say thank you, get the letter. It says it's like this in your soul today, and you take the letter and say, okay, so it's like this in my soul today. And you do like what the quote says. Just see what comes up. Just to free associate. What freely comes to mind? What does this suggest to me? What does it remind me of? Um, what does it make you think of? Springboards. They tell you about your life, the theme of your life. TTAQ, give the dream a TTAQ, give the dream a title, identify the theme, A for affect, Q for question. What question do you think your unconscious self, your soul is asking you? And formulate some kind of question. It can tell you a lot. Now, it doesn't come to you so bluntly because in that dream world, there's no time. So you got condensation. That's what he means by the mischievous child, little mischievous child. There's no time. So that can mean that. That can flip to that. That can mean that. That can symbolize that, and then it presents it to you, and then you got to unpack it. You got to open the letter and look and read the contents. So what you get, that's you got to unpack it kind of thing. You got to open the letter. So this is part of the general process to make the unconscious conscious, and that's part of the core task of healing to make the unconscious conscious. The image is the duck. The duck can walk on land, swim in water, fly in the air. So when the water's in the water, okay, that's like unconscious material, unknown material, and the duck can fly in the air. So now into the air in the light of consciousness. So you want to be like the duck and live in these different worlds. Gosh, I wish I had a cottage on the seashore like this. I could show you the birds and the heron. For a little while, I did a few 2.5 years ago. I had access to a shoreline, and I went there to do some videos. So there were some herons and seals and seaweed, bumblebees and mosquitoes. Um, what else? Loons. I think once we got the Canada geese, just once, I think. Is that right? Okay, the next one here for 56 is somebody's review of Karen Horney's book, her final book, Neurosis and Human Growth. He gave a glowing praise for this book, so I thought I would just include part of his review here. Okay, so Karen Horney is famous for a book called Neurosis and Human Growth, her last book. Her other book just before that called Our Inner Conflicts, that's a gem. That's a great book, Our Inner Conflicts. They're both good books. So Karen Horney is the compassionate, humanistic, positive kind of person. She's analytic in her thinking. She native German speaker. They have that analytic mind in Germany, I think. So when you read, uh, she speaks English. So when she translates her own German into English. So you feel that analytic kind of process. It's very interesting. Um, okay, so so part of a review when that book came out in the 50s, um, a review came out by this guy. So here's a part of it. Neurotic Neurotic development begins as the result of impaired interpersonal relationships early in childhood. Okay, relational trauma, interpersonal trauma, attachment trauma, betrayal trauma. The relationship with the mother was traumatized. Usually it's layered over the underlying birth trauma. So you got the shock trauma, the birth trauma, the betrayal trauma, then the relational trauma, misattunement, malattunement, using the baby, mother shaming the baby because she's trying to remember that she had been shamed. The mother doesn't remember that she had been shamed by her mother. In her attempt to remember that she had been shamed by her mother, she shames her own baby in her attempt to remember what happened to her. She forgot it, so she recreates it in an attempt to remember it. Now, so ideally, she would remember before she did it, and then she wouldn't do it. But she doesn't remember, so she shames it. Or she expects the baby to take care of her, parentify her. Or she's in protest mode. She wants to tell the world, show up her mother to the world, expose the mother to the world by telling the world what her mother did to her. So she has a baby and tells the world, look, world, my baby here is going to play the role of me back in my nursery. I'm going to play the shaming mother. So how I'm going to be negative towards my baby to show you that's what my mother did to me. So she's in protest mode like this. These kind of things lead to neurosis, dysfunctional living, self-defeating living. If that's all you know, it's a template. You're stuck with this template. You never got enough love to leave it. You got this curse. You got this curse. You got this traumatic script. So that's what. Back to Gabe's story. The guy had to face this script and said he wanted to break free finally. And again, in the Nick of Time story, similar idea. The wife said, "Look, come on, darling. You're going to spend your life still trying to save your mother. Be loyal to the mother. She's long gone. Are you married to mom or are you married to me? Come on, what is it?" Neurotic development begins as the result of impaired interpersonal relationships early in childhood, in consequence of which the child develops a feeling of basic anxiety insecurity. So that's her idea of basic. I think that's her idea of basic anxiety, basic insecurity. Each step in the neurotic development inevitably leads to further neurotic development. Because every time you feel pain and you run away from it, the pain's still there, you got to run away from it. The pain's still there, you run away from it. That's defenses against anxiety, defenses against pain. So it kind of builds up like that. Basic anxiety leads to the adoption of defensive maneuvers. These produce inner conflicts which necessitate further defensive solutions. The most comprehensive of these defenses is the solution of idealization, which in turn produces a conflict. None of these steps could be taken if the individual were not already to some degree alienated from himself. So again, he's alienated from himself. That's why this is going on. He's not connected to his beingness. He doesn't have his home with him. He's got the chasm. He feels the emptiness, the hollowness, the chasm in the there's the sky train. There's the sky train there. If I no, the ad is they took off the ad. The film of the year for 2024 was Inside Out 2. They had an ad on the sky train there. There's a scene in the Inside Out 2 called the sarcasm. So you saw the little mind workers being very sarcastic, and you saw the image associated with that was the chasm in the earth like that, the chasm. The beingness is not there. You got this chasm, this painful, empty feeling. So your soul flew away, right? The beingness turned into a bird, and your soul, the bird, flew away. Or Snow White's in a coffin, echoes a statue. Your soul's locked in a cage. So you're alienated from yourself. Your authentic self is away from you. That's what the Odyssey is about. That gap, like that. So it takes, it took 20 years because there's a huge gap in the Odyssey. Oh, what's this? Oh, oh, they're assembling some kind of a furniture. Okay, okay. So Karen Horney's theory, as it has been carried forward in her book Neurosis and Human Growth, is an optimistic one. We now know that it's possible for us to change and become who we're meant to become. We know that we are not by nature destructive or anxiety ridden. Hate is not a natural, basic, primary thing. Hate is the reactivity. Neurosis is the reactivity of when the needs are not met. That's not the basic thing that's there. That's there when the needs are met. You're embodied. You have your golden ball. You have your primary feelings. You're ethical. You're moral. You're virtuous. You're connected to yourself. You know how you're unique, which you express. That's the blueprint of happiness, the pleasurable, meaningful feeling that you're expressing the gifts that you've been given um, in association with your beingness and your recognition of how you're unique. Now, so joy runs the console. Sadness can be there sometimes when there's a loss, but joy runs the console. Now, if that's all, if the needs, if the child's needs were met for that beingness to be there, okay, then the feeling self is turned to stone. Okay, echo turns to a statue. Then you go back to the limbic system survival because that's an issue of survival for the baby. If he can't be himself, he's in survival mode. Whether it's hurting him, whether it's a monster, he's fighting with his mother. He's always in survival mode. So now in the survival mode, you got hate and fear, and anxiety and shame and ennui and envy and schadenfreude, all that stuff like that. Jungle slogans, survival slogans, adversarial thinking, oppositional thinking. That's not the basic state of affairs. That's an outcome of trauma. When there's trauma, so hate is an expression of this trauma. Okay, we know that we are capable of outgrowing neurosis, and that this involves far more than relief of symptoms, playing whack. So it's not about playing whack-a-mole with your symptoms or just behavioral adjustments or burying your pain more. It's not nothing like that. We know that human beings are not by nature the mute and songless creatures which neurosis makes of us. That's quite a line right there. Eh? We know that human beings are not by nature the mute and songless creatures which neurosis makes us of. Yeah, Woodman tells the dream about uh, the woman had a dead bird in her hand in the dream, and the dead bird said, um, "I just wanted to sing my song. That's all I wanted to do. Jeez." So a woman who was traumatized had a nightmare where she's holding a dead bird, but the dead bird is speaking. "I just wanted to sing my song." We now know that um, the pattern each of us faces, this this dysfunctional pattern or this traumatic template, this traumatic script each of us faces, is not an innate part of our nature, not something we are doomed to suffer under throughout our lives. It is a traumatic pattern which we created out of necessity at that time, but can be given up to the degree that these inner necessities no longer exist. Mother can't hurt you anymore. You're not in the nursery anymore. So you can gradually create new patterns, new ways of living. Okay, so enter the three-chair exercise by Ann Teacher discussed recently. Yeah, I don't live in it. I take like I don't live in this area, so this is a wealthier part of town where I'm in. This some fancy buildings here. No, I don't see the main one. Is that it there? No, it's further down. There's some really luxurious buildings a little bit further down. But these are also expensive. Okay, yeah. So okay, that's okay. So what I just did is a preview of 2956. So now let's do today's quotes. It's sort of a lighter load. It's just an example. This quote is mainly just giving you a couple of examples of what these authors mean by their phrase "Pyrrhic-revenge." Okay, hang on a second. Do I still have that 48? Yeah, okay. From yesterday, there was you want some kind of psychological gratification. You don't care what it does to you, right? Oh yeah, Pyrrhic-revenge strategies provide psychological relief that in some way compensates for the overt harm to the self. So this is based on the immense anger that a child, and then they grow up, have towards a parent. So they attack something the parent values, even if it affects them. They don't care if it affects them. They want to express their anger and damage what the father values. So one example, the father ignored the son, never talked to him, ignored him completely, didn't exist. But the father did value that he would go to school and get a good degree and all that. So fine. So sure, he went to the school, and here he is trying to get this degree. Wait a minute, that's what the father wants. That's satisfaction the father wants. He ignored me completely, doesn't care about me, he only cares about the degree. Oh, hell with this. I'll sabotage the degree to get angry at him. But what a fire of revenge, because what a cost, because he's got to lose his education only for the psychological gratification of upsetting and disappointing his father, whom he's angry at. So he pays a huge, immense price for a little petty psychological issue of expressing his resentment that his father ignored him. You value the degree. You don't value me. Oh, hell with the degree. I want you to value me. Then the father was shouting at him. He's oh, okay. At least I got some attention from him. At least I got some reaction from him. That's what he wanted. He never got father's attention, right? So that was a deliberate. This wasn't unconscious. He calculated it, and it was maliciously intentional like that. Um, was that Adam? Yeah, Adam got himself expelled from expensive private schools. A maliciously intentioned pattern of self-defeat that hurt his father. He found a way to attack his father with a pattern of Pyrrhic um, revenge targeted at the enterprise his father loved most, education. People who engage in Pyrrhic revenge learn early in life either that they are not loved in a nurturing manner, or that those entrusted with the power to dispense love and affection have other priorities, such as family business, academic excellence, etc. Armed with this awareness, self-saboteurs can identify their targets' most sensitive concerns and use inflicted, self-inflicted harm. They use self-inflicted harm in a strategy designed to hurt whatever these flawed caregivers value most. Most psychoanalysts interpret the actions of self-saboteurs who engage in Pyrrhic-revenge as a psychological way of loving or of getting attention from people they need and are deeply involved with, but also hate. They deeply fear confirming that they are fundamentally unloved or unworthy of attention. When events reminiscent of childhood abandonment, such as a gruff refusal or an actual rejection by a significant person, evokes their fears, self-defeatists may use fire-revenge tactics to establish connectedness that wards off the terror of being alone. Simply stated, better to be cared for enough to warrant this type of actively hostile environment, active, actually any involvement, than to be considered worthless and unworthy of concern. So the child would rather have his father shout at him than be completely ignored. At least he noticed him, worthy of concern. Jesus, it's kind of sad, all this stuff. By destroying an aspect of themselves that their fathers valued dearly, okay, so academic competence or money, etc. These self-saboteurs generated far more attention and involvement from their fathers than they could have through appropriate achievements. Yeah, so he got more response from the father when he flunked to school than he would have got or received had he completed it. He still would have been ignored. The father just wanted to brag, look, my son's got a degree, but ignores the son, doesn't talk to the son. So he would rather, that leads to the son wanting fire of revenge. Get him angry. No, value me more than a degree. Even if you got to shout at me, at least you notice me instead of ignored me. Um, where are we here? If Adam could have put into words what motivated his fights when he returned to the school, he might have said, quote, Dad, you hurt me terribly by kicking me out of the house. Now you'll have to come way up here and care for me after I get into trouble and have the headmaster summon you to my side. So there's the strategy, right? So, so he was creating constant trouble, constant drama at the school, involving the headmaster to call the father, to drag the father in. I got father's attention and did it again and again. Finally, flunked and whatever. It was too much finally. By sabotaging healthy goal attainment or actively inflicting self harm in ways that are immediately obvious to an ambivalently valued parent, the maliciously intentioned self defeatist assumes a powerless status. Where are we here? Hold a sec. Let me stand up for a sec. Let me try it this. Let me try it this way. These chairs aren't too comfortable. Yeah. Okay, let's try it this way. Okay, next part here. Next part here. By sabotaging healthy goal attainment or actively inflicting self harms in ways that are immediately obvious um, to the valued parent, the maliciously intentioned self defeatist assumes a powerless status. Look, Father, I'm no harm to you. I can't hurt you, Father. Look how powerful you are. Look how amazing you are. You've got all the power. Why are you hurting me? I'm a helpless little child here. You've got all the power. You do all the shouting. I can't hurt you. Why are you still shouting at me? I'm harmless to you. This process is thought to provide relief to the self defeatist by providing hope that the self inflicted punishment will finally evoke appropriate parenting, regardless of how miserably the parent has failed in the past. So I think what he's saying, the son is saying, you've got all the power. I'm no harm to you. Can't you be a real father now? What are you afraid of? Maybe like that. I'm not sure about that last part too much. But some children placate the parents. I'm no threat to you. I'm a compliant. I'm a good child. Maybe it's tapped into that idea. Okay, second example. Okay, that was Adam, right? So Jerry. Okay, Jerry. That's the one about the family money thing. Jerry's father was cold to his son, though what must have been a torturous trial and error procedure. Jerry discovered that by getting into gambling related trouble, he could get the attention he yearned for from this man. Gary learned to use self destructive gambling to incite his father's rage, which was followed by demonstrations of affection if Jerry expressed remorse and showed that he felt defeated. Even though the attention Jerry obtained through this pattern of Pyrrhic-revenge was negative, it was psychologically rewarding. This is the one about the uh, all members of the family own equal shares in the company they inherited from the grand whatever, and the father ignored the kid. He blew all the money on the gambling, but he got father's attention. That's the Pyrrhic-revenge. You only value the money. You don't value me. So I'm gonna get rid of the money. I'll sabotage the money to get you angry because you value the money. So I'm gonna throw away the money uh, to get you to pay attention to me. It's about I should be more important to you than the money you inherited or something. Okay, third one here, Stuart. Three of them here. Yeah, Jerry, Adam, and Stuart. One adolescent client. How are we doing here? One adolescent client developed a remarkably powerful Pyrrhic-revenge strategy that exploited the age-old axiom of parenting that, quote, this hurts me more than it does you. Let me, so one example, burglar, an example about the drinking guy. Um, the mother saw the son drinking and all this, and the mother said, it really pains me to see you drinking. I feel a lot of pain watching you drink like this. You're hurting. It really hurts me a lot. Um, it hurts me more than it does you. Oh, it hurts you more than it does me? Oh, good, good. I'll double the dose to hurt you more. Pyrrhic revenge. He wants the psychological satisfaction of getting back at his mother, even at the cost of his health. He wants the psychological gratification at the huge material cost up to himself. So it was deliberate. He deliberately wanted to get his mother to back off, express his anger at his mother. Although he could not at first explain what the dynamics underlying his strategy were, he soon recognized that he had one up on his father. Okay, so let's say the drinker hurt himself, but mother's all depressed. Aha! I one upped her. I can uh, push back the engulfing, demanding, clinging, demanding, abusive, guilt tripping, manipulation mother. Like I can get back at her. I can have one up on her. If she sees me drink so much again and again, and I get sick, and she kind of squirms away. Aha! I finally got a way to uh, protect myself or something. Stewart clearly deprived a sense of glory from. Where are we here? Okay, next one. What remained in therapy was to help him develop self-esteem from earning legitimate kudos in place of the type achieved through the twisted logic that said, yeah, well, I may be bad, but I'm better than he is, which must be good. I'll tell you the truth, I forgot the story behind Stuart here. Jerry was the family business one, Adam was the school one. I forgot about this kid one. So the son wants to make it look like the father's really bad. He makes himself bad, but it makes the father look worse. So by comparison, he's good. He's trying to do that kind of thing. Okay, the fourth one is um, when people want to show up the incompetence of their parents by going to the counselor, ask for help, and show how the counselor can't help them. So they'll sabotage their chance for help to expose the counselor as incompetent and useless. My parent was incompetent and useless. I'm going to make you incompetent and useless. So that's a Pyrrhic-revenge. He doesn't benefit from the therapy process, assuming the therapist is half okay, good enough, so to speak. No, I'm not going to cooperate. I'm going to make him fail. I'm going to make him fail because my parents failed. That's one way to do Pyrrhic-revenge. Pyrrhic-revenge can be an effective weapon and esteem enhancer for help rejecting complainers, or in the game Eric Byrne calls "Help Me If You Can," you fill in the blank. This self so Eric Byrne has the list of games people play. Eric, what are the games people play in Eric Byrne's book by that title? He's got like a whole list of them. Is that one here? Help me if you can, you bleep. This self this self defeating this self defeating style was first noted by therapists who felt manipulated and devalued by their clients, but it is now recognized among all maliciously intentioned self-defeatists who seek power and psychological gratification from making others fail. More specifically, in this form of Pyrrhic-revenge, self-saboteurs summon a caregiver, ask for help, and then thwart that person's best efforts to help. Although such self-defeatists punish themselves and lose potential benefits by blocking the well-intentioned efforts of others, they gain a warped satisfaction from the realization that they have the power to render would-be caregivers who are presumably more powerful, incompetent, useless, and even at times take it a step further and embarrass them and humiliate them. By enacting such a strategy of Pyrrhic-revenge, people can achieve psychological victory through defeat. Weapon of the week, he said. Weapon of the week. Psychological defeat. Psychological victory through defeat. Actually, now that the weather's cooler, maybe I can do a few more videos here. This is like a office. There's no residents above me. There's no. I'm fine here. I'm pretty sure I'm fine here. This is an odd little nook here where I can probably talk. I don't think it affects anybody. Yeah, maybe I'll do more videos here. So that complaint in there kind of was helpful after all. I got a bit of a breeze. All right. There is a. If I take the Sky train down, I can go to the park, but it's packed. It's a very busy little local downtown city park. I've tried to do a few videos there. There's just way too many interruptions. Let's play another song here. I think the caffeine has run its course here. I'm not a caffeine drinker. I don't know why I keep drinking that thing. What about Star? Here's a song by the classic rock band Street Harp called Star.
I told that girl what I thought you should be. She said, no, 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 mister, can't you see? I'm a rip-off artist, the star of the show. Is there something here that perhaps I should know? Baby, you real good friend, don't push. I'm getting near the end, baby. You real good friend. I really love you. I really love you. Told that girl what I thought you should know. And she said, keep it moving, boy, but keep it slow. I couldn't talk, but I could give her much more. Yes, I could. Yes, I could. Yes, I could. She rolled her eyes, screaming, no more, no more, no more. Baby, you real good friend, don't push. I'm getting near the end. Baby, you real good friend. Baby. She was the star of the show as it turned out to be. Oh, stretching and yawning as she shook herself free. All my money's gone, and damn, so was she. Everyone enjoyed the show except for me. Baby, you're real good friend, don't push. I'm getting near the end, baby. You're real good friend. I love you. I really love you.
All right, that voice you're hearing is Kenny Shields. Kenny Shields. Just before he passed away, he did a cover of Nature's Way. Uh, that song is off their second album, Under Heaven, Over Hell. So once again, the baby, it's heaven or hell for the baby. He can't do under heaven, over hell. He can't do confusion, ambivalence. He needs paradise, heaven. While it's hurting him, he's in hell. He can't find some kind of recognition that the mother is okay. She's impaired. She's trying her best. Um, she would have. She would love the baby if she could. Baby's okay with that. Baby can't be okay with that. He's terrorized. Now he's in hell, right? Fighting with the sea monster. So the core task is that we got to resolve this. So that's the source point of when there's trauma, the baby splits. the mother, the goddess or demon. That goddess or demon is underpinning, and the self part representation is linked to those two part other representations. That's the underpinning of either or thinking. So either or thinking maintains the trauma bond to the mother, your loyalty to the mother. Jungle slogans and adversarial slogans and thinking, opposition, either or thinking, that's loyalty to the mother. That's what's there when there's trauma with the mother. So you maintain the symptom of the trauma with the mother. You don't heal. Um, you're loyal to the mother like that. You're not admitting you're not admitting that she hurt you. If you can admit that she hurt you, you get your beingness back. If you can admit your mother hurt you, if you can face the painful truth and call a spade, that your mother didn't love you, asterisk, when we say that, we mean from the baby's angle, from the baby's eyes. If the baby's needs don't get met, he felt unloved, so the mother didn't love the baby. So why did the mother love the baby? Get the story, but the story includes the truth that she didn't love the baby. She didn't meet the baby's needs. Okay, but if you do either or thinking, no, okay, you're not doing it. So that's why Baba Yaga gobbles up the people in the fairy tale if they persist in adversarial jungle slogan thinking. No, the mother's not a goddess or demon. No, you're not this special elite little or this always terrible, no good. No, you're a person who's a diamond with facets. Mother's a diamond with facets. You know, so we got to upgrade either or thinking to both and thinking. Both and thinking. Okay, this topic about both and thinking was discussed yesterday in the with the cherry blossom place. So I won't do it here. But that's sort of a core task to graduate from either or thinking. Get your parents a story, then it's both and. Then you can heal with the both and. Now, en route to that, you got to free associate, dream interpretation, the letters. You got to identify all this false hope, unrealistic hope that by um, looking for symbols of mother, that could be actually mother, and not understand that your neurotic needs are in response to your needs unbeing met, thinking your neurotic needs are real needs. Okay, so for example, in your anger towards mother, you can shame others though your mother shamed you, and you keep doing that. You think someday a magical time machine will appear, you'll go back in the past, mother will say sorry and give you the love. That's unreal hope. But you got that kind of hope. You're trying to show up the mother. What are you talking about? Mother's long gone. Why are you still in this bittersweet phenomena of trying to justify this, still win mother's love like that? So, by showing her up, then she'll apologize. You're not making sense. There is time. The present, you're not in the past, you're not in the nursery, but you're operating out of this neurocircuitry. That's the unconscious, that's the power of the unconscious or unconscious fantasies. Someone said, if know thyself means know those fantasies, know those templates, know those scripts when you want to know yourself. Know this intrapsychic, endopsychic structure. Okay, so, or you think repeating what happened is going to change the past. Really? You were allured with the mother and then rejected with the mother. Really? You symbolically recreate that by going to the slot machine. You feel allured by the slot machine. You put your hope in and get rejected. Really? You think doing that again and again and again, you think somehow you'll get mother's love that was needed back in the past? I'm just noticing this little group passing by. Taxi drivers taking a rest in their car, sleeping in their car. It's been a long time since we've had this kind of nice summery breeze. This is the first sort of, this is the beginning of the nice weather for the next couple of months. Maybe 2, 3 months. Is that right? 2, 3 months, it's kind of nice. And then the remaining 10 months, you're sweating all the time. I'm sweating all the time. So let's enjoy these 2 months here. Yeah. Okay. So either you got to find the third side of the coin, the both and. Okay. So go to Route 66 go to TQ 2599, where you will find our quotes from the classic TV show Route 66. Read those 11 quotes, in particular the first five. Some of the best quotes in our whole collection are right there. Um, and there's one there about the third side of the coin. One there about the albatross is in there. The mask one is in there. Those are great quotes. So when you get both and, you're pretty much home free once you get both and. If you insist no either or, my greed or your greed, okay, you're not going to get your beingness back because you're perpetuating the sadomasochistic bond, trauma bond with the mother when you do adversarial thinking. Splitting precludes getting your beingness back. It prevents your individuation. It prevents your beingness from coming back. Snow White won't come back. Rapunzel won't come back. Echo won't come back. The golden ball won't come back if you're doing either or thinking, oppositional thinking. Only the both and thinking, then it can come back. And that's the image of Inside Out 2. You see that at the end. The orbs came rushing up, the beingness, and it resolved either or and a new sense of self. That little diamond symbol, that little swirly thing that looked like an atom or something, that was the sense of self, the beingness. That was inclusive. It's the Jane mind. Okay? In the film, The Three Faces of Eve, discussed yesterday, the daughter said to the mother, "Look, mother, when you're Eve White, gee, you're kind of miserable. When you're Eve Black, you're very dangerous. But when you're Jane, I like that. Could you be Jane? Mother, could you please be Jane, the reasonable, fun, relaxed, adult, reasonable adult? I'm safe with you. I'll learn with you. I feel we can develop together. I can be myself when I'm with you. Could you please be Jane? I'm depressed when you're Eve White. I'm scared when you're Eve Black. Could you please be Jane?" So the Jane is, after 3 years of therapy, she developed the Jane mind. She built the ark like Noah's Ark, so above the water, above the, now you're in the conscious. But she didn't have the arc. She didn't have the central ego, the adult mind, the central ego. She didn't have that Jane mind, the third side of the coin that holds the two, that floats you up. If you don't have that, you're swimming at the either or, Eve White or Eve Black. They even named it Eve White, Eve Black. This is splitting. They even named it. They even named her Eve White or Eve Black to emphasize the psychological splitting. So when you do therapy and you build resolve those two, okay, then you get something new that includes it all, and then the old ones, Eve White, Eve Black, poof away. Right? So when Eve White, Eve Black disappeared, then the daughter was happy and she could feel safe with her mother, and she got a guy who liked her and rode off into the sunset. You got to face this existential conclusion that we make as babies, that we're no good, we're guilty, we're wrong, it's our fault, our mistake, we couldn't say mother, we were in pain. Is it because we were being punished for something? Did we do something wrong? We didn't meet mother's needs? Did we fail to read her mind and meet her needs? So we're being punished, so we're guilty all the time. So you develop this attitude post the trauma. You weren't born with that attitude. You developed it in response to the trauma. So Karen Horney would make that very clear. You're not born like that. You're not born sinner, guilty, dead. That's, you got to face this doomsday thing. Okay, so again, in the Twilight Zone Shatter Day, the healing journey in 7 parts, named after the 7 parts named after the days of the week: Someday, Moan Day, Doomsday, Wound Day, Thorn Day, Free Day, Shatter Day. So you gotta face the someday, then you gotta moan. Okay, the do's stuff we're talking about now. The do's, you're not guilt, debt, due, debt. Come on, no baby's in debt and due and obligation. There's no baby's responsibility. Obligation is due, is debt, is guilt. In German, guilt and debt are the same word. His baby wasn't born with some kind of obligation, debt, due to save his mother. No baby can do it. He can't even do it. He's not supposed to try to do it. He thinks he's got to do it because the mother said, "You meet my needs." Okay, mother, I'll try my best. He failed, guilty. So he has this permanent kind of guilt like this. Jesus Christ, you got to upgrade this kind of thing. So you got to treat that as a relic from another era, another time like that. Set it back like that, and build the Jane mind. Build the adult mind. Okay, in Alan Golem's model, it's the either or is the frozen child, freezing parent. That'd be like Eve White or Eve Black. So you identify which puppet master is here, because there's no adult mind, there's no arc, right? There's no adult mind. So what are those past minds take over. So frozen child, freezing parent. Frozen child, that's the um, trauma post 18 months where you still have the hope, you're wrong, you're no good. The freezing parent one, that's trauma prior to 18 months, where you crossed over, make the Faustian bargain, the Faustian deal, identification with the aggressor, now you shame yourself. So that now you're very critical. In other words, if you notice yourself as very negative and cynical, that's the freezing parent taking over. If you notice yourself, my fault, I'm wrong, I'm guilty, that's frozen child one. So put a wedge between those two, place those two, set it back in the past, build the adult mind, build the arc. Noah's arc, build that arc mind, the Jane mind, the middle mind, the third side of the coin mind that holds the two, inside out two. They do the group hug. Do the group hug. Something keep you in the present. Then you operate from the present kind of place. In the book by Ann Teachworth, her way of getting there is the 3-chair exercise discussed recently. I did my disclaimer already. Yeah, I did my disclaimer. I'm not a shrink professor yet. Did I do it? Well, okay, well, there it is there. I'm not a professor. I only have a BA. I'm trying to learn his perspective, kind of thing. Okay, and there are a few more sort of approaches in this midlife audit, in this second journey, or hero's journey, midlife examination period, midlife survey, midlife audit. Okay, free association, dream interpretation, identify defense mechanisms. That's trickstery kind of energy, but be like the duck, where you can make the unconscious conscious. The doomsday one just mentioned, the unreal someday stuff. Oh, someday, a, a, a brownie and a beer will be mother's sweetness and spirit in the past. Come on. Someday, if I'm negative towards others, telling the world that that's how my mother was to me. Someday, a magical time machine will appear. I'll go back in the past. Mother will apologize, give me the love that I should have received because she saw because she got the message. Come on. But someday, um, if I find somebody who reminds me of the parent and fix them, I'll be fixing my mother in the past. Come on, you got to face all these unrealistic, relentless, unreal kind of hopes. It's the death of those kind of hopes that's the birth of new life. Yeah. So the death, that's so in the fairy tale when there's a death, they mean the death of that kind of hope, that attitude that died. So character died like that. Then there's a birth like that. Okay, and we added the inspiration about the dream interpretation. They're like letters from you to you. Free association. What does this suggest to me? What does this remind me of? And when you get a feeling, you validate yourself. You self-reparent yourself. You treat yourself better than the way your mother treated you. Your mother gaslit you, right? Your mother double-binded you. Your mother shamed you. Get over what blamed you, manipulated you, tricked you, lied you, deceived. Okay, no. You do a better job for yourself. So when your child comes up, when your feelings come up, inner child of the past comes up, you self-reparent yourself. You now treat yourself the way your mother should have treated. You do that now yourself. So what do you do? What did you want? You wanted validation. So you say to yourself when you got a feeling, okay, there you are, welcome, welcome, guest house. Read the poem by the famous poem, The Guest House. You welcome. You treat your feelings like a guest to your home. Welcome, and then mindfulness, be present to it, and then and then I must have a very good reason for feeling this. Validate. I must have a legitimate and very good reason for feeling what I'm feeling. What's the hardest thing about this feeling? What's the most confusing thing about it? Just see what comes up and free associate, validate, free associate. Now, ultimately, the most difficult thing, it seems to be, is to find that caring witness. You need a caring witness to develop a level of safety where you can do this. Just reading about it, it's kind of still in your head a little bit. You need a caring witness. Grief is healed when it's witnessed by a caring other. You need that caring other, because the caring other creates that deep level of safety that you can't quite get you in a restaurant reading quotes or something like that, or at home. You can't quite get that. Now, if you're lucky, maybe in nature, if you can find a real serene place in nature, and you feel safe with the routine of your natural environment, and you got raspberries around and things, maybe it can be done using nature as a kind of a caring witness. But if you got hillbillies running around or whatever, scary, whatever, not hillbillies, what do you call it? Locals freaking out. Who's the stranger here? You got things like that. Can't relax in that kind of environment. It's very hard to find the Walden's Pond or whatever it is. It's very hard to find these peaceful, serene places in nature. Jeepers Christ! I tried myself. I tried. Um, what's the time here? Let me check the time here. Hold on a second. What time is it? 4:47. Almost five. So we have about an hour, right? I've got an hour of daylight. Look at that, eh? Wow. See, there's no park. I can't. There's no parks. It's just all concrete jungle, right? It'd be fun if I were in a bird park. I could show you some exotic birds or something. Right? Okay, I want to really emphasize this first quote by Hirsch here, 2956. So your dysfunctional behavior, your dysfunctional living, your self-defeating living, whatever it is, okay, um, typifies the image that we have that it typifies the image that the person sees of himself through the eyes of his mother. So dysfunctional living typifies the image one sees of themselves through the eyes of their mother. So the emotional eating, you're not physically hungry, but you're gulping down some biscottis, some cookies, whatever. See, that's the image, right? So unloved, love starved, unloved. She didn't love you. I wasn't loved. I'm not gonna love you. I reject you. You didn't serve me. You didn't meet my needs. I'm gonna reject you. You're unloved. I'm not gonna love you. Love starved. You're not worthy of my love. Well, mother can't love anyway, so that's gonna come from that. So she saw you in an unloving way because she can't love. So you're eating cookies as symbolic love. Uh, so this dysfunctional behavior reflects your understanding of yourself through the eyes of your mother on you. How you saw yourself reflected in your mother's eyes. How you saw and understand yourself reflected in your mother's eyes. That's a real power like that, eh? That that mother really has that kind of power. Like she looks at the baby in a loving way. He has esteem. Mother looks at the baby in a hateful way. They're going to live in a dysfunctional way. Really? Is it that simple? Woodman thinks she quotes that book. Woodman, Miriam, she quotes that slightly famous book, Mother Infant Attachment. Ayers, right? The eyes of the eyes of shame. The eyes of shame. The eyes of shame. The mother has the eyes of shame. Maybe feels shame himself. Well, I'd kind of like to hang out with you guys, my imaginary audience. No views. Can you believe it? My last video, excellent video, 3 hour video. Cover a lot of ground. No views. Can you believe it? Now it'd be very good to do like a Q&A if somebody had questions. I could maybe I could um, have some fun with it or something in a helpful way, not in a put down way. Like if someone had a negative comment towards me, um, well, okay, could it be maybe that you're communicating that that's how your mother treated you, the way you're treating me? Is that maybe you're trying to learn that your mother treated you like that, so you don't remember, so you treat me like that, trying to remember? Really? What's the psychobabble? Okay, well, that's defense against curiosity of this idea. Who knows? Why not check it out? I'm still hesitant to open the comments section because it would just be filled with critical kind of people with blow off steam like that. It's not about that, right? I'm not a shrink, so I don't have the proper reply for people. Like, I don't think I'd have the proper reply. Maybe I can get to a place where I can give an analytic, thoughtful therapy reply to people. But they'll test it. They'll want you to fail. Pyrrhic-revenge. No, no. I'm only safe. I only have narcissistic pride, neurotic pride. Uh, if you represent the goodness and I can damage, I'm envy, filled with envy. Like the whole He-Man routine, like the bodybuilder, whatever. It might be. I don't know. I don't know. It might be a reaction formation, like a rebellion. No mother, back off kind of thing, right? Janoff would say, see, Janoff has the theory that some babies are born with PTSD, all revved up. They're already born with hypermusculature. Um, so they're always in a permanent state of fight or flight in the brain. So they're always, they can't relax really. They can't have the parasympathetic. The parasympathetic and sympathetic, everybody's meant to have sort of like a balance of the two, not some exaggerated rigidity in one or the other. So the hypertension one, that's an exaggerated rigidity in the sympathetic response, and the hyper kind of like a laid back one, the energy conserving one, um, is meant to be some kind of like the moon and the sun, the day and the night kind of thing, yin and yang, they say. I question mark about that one. Still learning about this sympathetic versus parasympathetic or nervous system issue. But I highly recommend the Janov quotes we have on our collection, 2745 to 70, done at the beginning of this year. Basically, January and February of 2024, those 2 months, we did 26 videos, plus, and a very important 3 video tag on post it from 71 to 3 on this term called abreaction. So we discussed and clarified what that term means. There's the natural healthy one that we're looking for, called like a genuine catharsis, an authentic emotional release, versus the sham one where you're blowing off steam. Yeah, another task Bobby a guy gives is she gives you a pile of seeds, and she tells you, all right, you gotta separate the seeds and make two piles. So what are your real needs, seeds? Can you discern what's your real needs, and can you discern what are your neurotic needs? Those kind of, can you distinguish between defensive needs, neurotic pride needs, defensive needs, symbolic needs like that, versus what did you really need? What were your real needs unmet? Can you discern those two and make two piles of seeds? If you can't, no, it doesn't work. So you need that mindfulness to distinguish between. Um, like Burglar says it this way. He says a lot of your defense mechanisms are actually around the pain of you not getting your neurotic need met. Like you're doing something, searching for a symbolic need. You didn't get your symbolic need, and you feel anxiety. So you gotta, shall I compare thee to an onion? You gotta layer it. And generally speaking, the rule of thumb they say is defense before content. So you notice what you're doing, and then figure out why. I changed the topic. Okay, so so why? And then look at the content. Don't just look at the content. That's why you changed the topic. First, notice you changed. So you're talking about something. Okay, you got triggered, you felt pain, you change the topic. So you first notice the layer, you change the topic. And then you look under why kind of thing, the content, like why'd you change the topic? Don't say you change, oh, because you were triggered, that's why you changed the topic. Okay, well, the sequencing is uh, the onion, the layer, you got to start off the surface and then go down. Defense before content. So they don't make those cookies anymore. Um, um, you're disappointed. You search for those cookies. Now they're not around. You're disappointed. That's all defensive stuff, right? Now the underneath that is the memories of being triggered that you weren't loved and comforted and soothed and sweetness and all that. And there's a film called what's it called again? The Amazing Mr. Williams. There's a line about this issue on the famous train scene in the film. Some mistake was about to be made, and the guy got angry and said to the guy who was making the mistake, "You know, you're robbing my child of his sweetness. Where does it go from that? Where does it go now? What does a child do when he's robbed of his family, his like that?" So the father was wrongly accused. Some guy, Mr. Williams, is gonna send him away or something. What about my son here? You're robbing him of his sweetness. What does he do now? He's gonna be filled with hate, isn't it? And then what? He's gonna be filled with hate. And then what does he do? Where does he go with all this hate? Kind of thing. Okay, sure enough, Mr. Williams discovered his mistake and everything was okay. Sorry, I'm watching all the little comings and goings in front of me here. Why am I doing that? Why don't they just turn off the camera and just hang out here a little longer? Why am I dragging my audience, my imaginary? See, I'm trying to find a way to get the quotes out. See, if you're wondering, what's this guy doing here? Why is he filming like this? Well, I need a way to get the quotes out. Right? I need a way to get these 10,000 quotes out. So in each video, we post on average 10. We post on average 10. So today was just whatever it was, but 50, like 56. There's One, two, four, six. Yeah, there's 8 here, right? There's 8 in this one. So on average, we post 10 quotes with the hope that 1 out of 10 will be a hit song, will be of help. So 10,000 quotes, if 1 out of 10 clicks, each person can have their own customized, unique for them, tailored for them, made by them. They made it themselves, their own, unique for them, personalized for them, unique for them, specially for them, their own 1001 windmills of the mind. It should be, I think, hopefully it moves towards that being enough of a support uh, to move towards now knowing what we couldn't have known. And then with the caring witness, hopefully you can finally feel what you couldn't have felt. That's the ab reaction. Like the firebird, the phoenix rises, the firebird rises. In Disney film, that's when the orbs come rushing up. You ride the orbs up. So that's called emotional knowing. You get the emotional knowing. You cognitively know what you couldn't know back then. That sets it up to emotionally know what you couldn't have known. This could be like little mini things. It doesn't have to be like a major one, like like Kirikou in the film, Kirikou in the sorceress. You see the thorn pulled up, and there's all this big rush. Um, it could be a major one. It could be a minor one. Most people think these are quiet awakenings, gentle awakenings, little quiet awakenings, little quiet awakenings. I thought yesterday's discussion was okay about Gabe's story and Iron John about getting the key out from under mother's pillow. Those images. Okay, I guess I should wrap it up here. Okay, let's just close it up here then. Any final, any final thoughts here? Okay, let's just close this video quietly. I think we played enough songs this time around. A new song, not on our soundtrack, but "Lose My Way" by Bonda Shepherd. And Star, we played Star, and we opened up with "Constant Tourist." Yeah. So the conclusion is, all of these quotes are moving towards getting to a place where we no longer feel alienated from ourselves, estranged from ourselves. We, our beingness is missing. We want to get our beingness back. We had it, we lost it, feel alienated like a constant tourist from ourselves, want to get it back. So our soul is like where are you? The soul is looking for home. We're the home for our soul. Our soul is looking for home. We feel homeless because our soul is missing, so we want to get our beingness back. So resolve oppositional thinking, divide the seeds, do the someday issue, the doomsday issue, dream interpretation, free interpretation. Get your parents' stories. Okay, Bruce Springsteen earlier. Yesterday, Bruce Springsteen, the quote in there, the intro he gave to one of his songs. Played that yesterday, and a few other kind of court kind of tasks. Then that sets the stage. And then when the firebird arrives, you hop in the back of the firebird, you ride the firebird. Now you're getting feelings back. That's the emotional knowing. Now your energy, it can be for the present, for the beingness, where it's meant to be. Your energy, your life force is meant to be for your beingness. So you got to get your beingness and your life force can be for the now you're in the present. Now you got your golden ball. Now you got a wide range of feelings, needed feelings. Now affection is there. Now body, heart, soul, mind, it's all lined up. Okay, now you got affection and intimacy, and you don't got to split things, and uh, you know, um, you can enjoy the present. And, that's the theory. Rather than using the present as constant new editions of the past, still living in the past, transfer the past to the present, where the present is called the presenting past, because the pain you're feeling, you see that you create the childhood in the present due to the pain you're feeling, trying to get out of the pain, trying to get a better outcome from the past. So you recreate the past in the present, hoping that you got a better past. Not making sense. So the present's always the past. Um, yes, materially we get that the present's the present. We're not psychotic like that, but we're just using the present. Um, but underneath, our real emotional, psychological issue is still back in the past like that. So there's a split of the ego like that. The ego can help you pay the bills and drive a car and all that, uh, but your most of your life force is dedicated to this unresolved finish with the mother, this unresolved this with the mother. And Mr. Gibb there, he never did it. Obviously, he never did it, right? He never went to a shrink or something. The impression I got, he was still looking for mother. His first wife was a carbon copy of his mother. I did a quick check on the little clip they did. I looked at the parents. What does his mother look like? What does his first wife look like? Oh, you got to be kidding. They look pretty much the same. And the second one, the second main one, Marie Osmond, right? Um, so the personality, a little bit like the same. And the third one, the real nasty one, I think I agree with what other people said. She was a real doozy, that one. She was like a turbocharged version, an angry turbocharged, entitled, angry, bitter version of Marie Osmond. They said that finished him off, that one there. So he was trying harder and harder. First, he got a mild version of the mother. That she left him. Then he got a maybe a slightly more demanding version of the mother, uh, and she left him. Then he tried harder. Oh, give me a more potent version of my mother, and give me. I'll try harder, because she's harder to please. I gotta in correspondence. I gotta reflect that or something, and that didn't work. So he was still looking, and somebody said he never grew up. He never grew up somehow. He never left the teenager world. He was a pretty guy, good-looking guy, played. And he stayed in that kind of mode. But unconsciously, from what I can tell from those three women, he was still looking for the oneness, the merging, the symbiosis. He was still looking for the oneness. So he was looking for oneness. But the first wife can't be his mother. The second one can't be his mother. Third one, um, definitely, definitely, it's not going to be his mother. They said she was an addict too, so they share the commonality of searching for mother together. That's all that was, right? Yeah, I don't know the full story. Hope nobody's offended. Um, I don't mind the Bee Gees songs too much. They're pretty good. Some good songs. Number one band of the '70s, the Bee Gees, right? It's kind of amazing that every child, like all sons from that family, can all sing. Is that how does that work, right? So you got the oldest and the twins, and then a huge 10-year gap. Then the youngest one came. So I'm trying to follow every mountain here. So whenever there's a clue, I'm trying to follow it. So yeah, why don't we close up with climb every mountain? So here's a 2-minute instrumental. So I'm trying to borrow this. I'm trying to borrow this melody to. We're trying to climb every quote here, follow every lead, be a detective. Okay, give me a minute to dig it up. So let's wrap it up with um, this instrumental of this very famous melody here. Okay, let's see. Do I still have it? So, right here it is. So just basically, we're trying to read every quotation, read every theory, read every author, climb every mountain, search high and low, follow every train of thought, every path you know, climb every quotation, free associate every stream of consciousness, follow every hunch, every lead, till you till you find your soul, till your beingness comes back to you. This is a midlife audit that will need all the wonder and courage you can muster. 10 minutes a day for as long as you live. Lifelong learning. Okay, thanks very much for the love of narrative medicine. I'll see you in the next video.